Hello and welcome to ThomasGeigerCar. Today, finally, with the next generation Mini. It's been a long time since we could present a new Mini, and now they're just coming like out of the cookie factory. We've already seen the new Countryman, the new Aceman is on the horizon, and this is the new Cooper, the core model, the three-door hatchback. It has still the iconic design. It is developed by BMW in joint cooperation with Great Wall Motors in China. And if you want to know if this British-Bavarian-Chinese cooperation worked out and what to expect from that vehicle that hits the market before summer break, join me on my first test drive and I'll tell you all about it. Before we finally get behind the wheel, we should just take a few more seconds to discuss the size and the shape of the Mini. While the Mini Countryman grew in size and is now really a maxi Mini, the hatch, the three-door car, stood with its original dimensions. Still much bigger than the original Mini from the 1950s and 60s, but compared to the outgoing model, the size is almost the same. 3.86 meters in length, 2.50 meters something in wheelbase means it is a truly compact car and it has everything you need for the go-kart feeling that Mini is promising. And also the shape is pretty original. They took off some gliss and glamour. The car is a bit more serious, less toy than before, but you still have this puppy eyes, you still have this cute face, and definitely the most sexy back in the small car segment. The downside of the compact size is the interior. While driver and co-driver have ample space for legs and shoulders, the rear seat is very limited and you have to sit really tight, especially as an adult. And the trunk space is also not the biggest. 210 liters, and if you fold all the seats down, it's about 800 liters that you can stow in the Mini. Still enough to go grocery shopping or to have a nice afternoon at the mall, but going into vacation, quite difficult. But for that reason, you can opt for the Countryman instead. When it comes to the interior of the new Mini Cooper, the revolution in style is more visible than with the exterior, because the designers have really cleaned out everything and have changed to a totally new concept of color and trim and infotainment. The time of leather and chrome is gone. We have lots of fabric, lots of cool details like the fabric ribbon here or there, and we have no display at all behind the steering wheel. Instead of that, we have a pancake-sized touchscreen, the first circular touchscreen in the industry, and that is really a fancy playground for all the digital natives. We have, for example, these new experiences that kind of change the character of the Mini, and not only change steering and throttle response, no, they change the ambience lighting and the sound as well, and they play a beautiful jingle to enhance the driver feeling. So if we switch into the go-kart mode, for example, listen, then you have really that engaging sound that will get you going. Two things that totally don't match to the new interior. The one is the head-up display with this old plastic shield that pops out of the dashboard to give you more information. And the other thing is the key fob. Remember, the car is called Mini, but it has one of the biggest key fobs in all the industry. So this is it, finally driving the new Mini for the first meters after driving prototype after prototype and seeing show car and design model after design model. This is the real thing, and it's time to convey some official figures. The car is available for the moment in two different trim and power levels. We have the base model, the Mini Cooper E with 135 kilowatts, or the Cooper SE with 160 kilowatts. The smaller engine has 290 Newton meters, the more powerful 330 Newton meters. And whilst the outgoing electric Mini was limited to 150 kilometers per hour, the new generation is a bit quicker. It accelerates from 0 to 100 in about 6.7 seconds, and it goes to 160 and 170 kilometers per hour with the two different drivetrains. When it comes to batteries, we have a 37 kilowatt hours battery and a 49 kilowatt hours battery, which translates into a range of roughly 300 or 400 kilometers. That is pretty fine for a city car. The really disappointing thing is when it comes to charging. While 11 kilowatts charging power at an AC socket is totally fine, 95 kilowatts on a DC socket is pretty disappointing. This is something BMW and Mini should have done much better. A surprise in the most positive way is the pricing of the new Mini Cooper. In Germany, it costs as little as 32,900 euros. That's pretty cheap if you consider the premium approach of Mini. If you opt for the stronger, more powerful model, you're at 36,900 euros. Still pretty cheap and way cheaper than many of the competitors. But figures are only the one side when driving a Mini. Most of all, it's about the feeling, and no matter what powertrain it is, the feeling is always the same. The car is agile and edgy, and it's just fun to drive. And it doesn't matter if it's in a dense city where you find your tight spots and move around the other cars, or if it's on a curvy country road where you just enjoy yourselves. Thanks for joining me on that first drive with the new electric Mini Cooper, the core model of the brand, and a car that kind of leaves me undecided. On the one hand, I really like the modernized but classic design. I like the way it drives because it still reminds me a bit of an electric go-kart, and I especially like the digital playfulness in the interior. There is lots of twinkle in the eyes left in a time where all the cars are very serious. Also, driving figures are okay, and I can live with the limited range since it's a city car, a small car, and for BMW and Mini purposes, it's almost a cheap car. But what is really a pity is the charging speed. 95 kilowatts on the fast charger. That is pretty outdated for a brand new car. So I'm not really sure if this car will really make its way ahead. Good thing is, if you don't like the electric drivetrain and all that comes along with it, but fall in love with the design and the way the car drives, it's still available with petrol engines as well. Thank you, Shishye, Saitien, and goodbye.